Good morning, students. Today we are going to revise the second chapter of your grammar book, that is noun and pronoun. Today we will only revise the first part, that is noun. Noun. A noun is a word used as the name of a person, place or thing. The word thing is used to mean anything that we can think of. So, in a word, we can say noun is a naming word. So, students, how many types of nouns are there? There are 5 types of nouns: proper noun, common noun, collective noun, abstract noun, and material noun. At first, proper noun. A proper noun is a name that identifies a particular person, place, or thing. In written English, proper nouns begin with capital letters. For example, Stephen, Africa, London, Monday. Here, the word Stephen refers to a particular person. Next, common noun. Common noun refer to people, places, and things in general. For example, boy, country, bridge, city, day. Now, the word boy is a common noun because it is a name common to all the boys. Right? While Stephen is a proper noun because it is the name of a particular boy. I hope you understand the difference between proper noun and common noun. Next, abstract noun. An abstract noun refers to ideas, qualities, and conditions, things that cannot be seen or touched, and things which have no physical reality. For example, truth, danger, happiness, beauty, honesty, knowledge. These are the things which we cannot see or touch. These are the ideas, qualities, and conditions that have no physical reality. Next, formation of abstract noun. The abstract nouns which are derived from adjectives and common nouns signifying qualities or characteristics are termed as attributive nouns. Examples: excellence from excellent. The abstract nouns which are derived from verbs are called verbal nouns. Examples: protection from protect. Next, the attributive and verbal nouns are formed by adding suffixes such as ness, ness, dom, dom, double e, that is e, hood, hood, tion, sun, acy, age, and ly. For example, weakness from weak, freedom from free, childhood from child, bondage from bond, friendship from friend, and agreement from agree. Next, collective nouns. A collective noun denotes a group of individuals, persons, animals, or things forming a unit. For example, class. Here, the word class identifies a group of students. So, collective nouns are the nouns that denotes a group of something. Next, pride. Pride is also a collective noun. as it identifies a group of lions. Crew, a group of sailors. Next, material noun. Names of materials or substances used as ingredients for making things. Examples: water, iron, steel, sugar, milk, tea, glass. All these are examples of material noun. To sum up that, we can say proper noun denotes specific names. For example, Rahul. Common name denotes non-specific names like teachers. Abstract noun denotes names of quality, idea, feeling, emotion. For example, freedom. Collective noun denotes names of group. For example, class. And material noun denotes names of material. For example, wood. Next, countable nouns. These are the nouns that can be counted. For example, books, bags, pens. Countable nouns have both singular and plural forms. Words generally used with them are one, two, a few, many, some. Examples: few people come to the party. One boy got hurt while practicing. Usually, most of the common nouns and collective nouns are countable nouns. Next, uncountable nouns. These are the nouns that cannot be counted. These are the nouns that denote materials, substances, ideas, or concepts which cannot be counted. For example, sugar, milk, tea. We cannot count these things. Words generally used with them are a little, much, some. For example, give me some water. Add a little salt to the curry. Uncountable nouns have singular form only. Usually, most of the proper nouns, material nouns, and abstract nouns are uncountable nouns. Some abstract nouns may also have a plural form. For example, decisions from decision, hardships from hardship. There are some nouns that can be countable or uncountable depending upon the context, such as glass, paper, fish, oil, etc. Examples: I broke a glass yesterday. Here, the word glass is countable, whereas if we say the table was made of hardened glass, here the word glass is uncountable. Next, we have been to Tokyo 3 times. Here, the word times is countable. But if we say, I didn't have enough time to finish reading the book, here, the same word time is uncountable. Next, our house has 5 rooms: the kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, living room, and family room. Here, the word room is countable. But if I say, I will make some room for these new books in the bookshelf, here the word room is uncountable. Next, noun case. Noun case tells us about the position of that noun in a sentence. In English, there are 5 cases: nominative case, objective case, dative case, possessive case, and vocative case. Nominative case. The nominative case is the case used for a noun or pronoun which is the subject of a verb. Example, Mr. Dey eats cakes. Mr. Dey is a proper noun in nominative case. Next, the painter paints the portraits. Here, the word the painter is a common noun in nominative case. Next, he senses a problem. Here, he is a pronoun in nominative case. So, we can say that a noun in the nominative case answers the questions who or what before the verb. Objective case or accusative case. The objective case is used for nouns and pronouns that functions as objects. For example, they like her. Here the word her is in objective case. The book is a present from them. Here the word them is in objective case. It is object of the preposition from. So we can say that a noun in the objective case answers the question what or whom after the verb. Here, as her and them are direct objects, so they are in accusative case. Next, dative case. A noun is said to be in dative case if it is the indirect object of the verb. So, dative case shows indirect object of a verb. For example, she will send him the presentation tomorrow. Here, the word him is in dative case. Step 1. Find the verb. Here the verb is will send. Step 2. Ask whom. The answer is him. Therefore, the indirect object is him. So, we can say the pronoun him is in dative case. So, in short, a noun in the dative case answers the question for, from, whom after the verb. So, to simplify the matter, we can say that the subject is the nominative case and object is the objective case. If it is a direct object, then it will be accusative case. But if the object is indirect object, then we can say that it is dative case. Next, possessive case. A noun is said to be in possessive case if it denotes possession or ownership. A noun or pronoun in the possessive case is governed by the noun that follows it. For example, it is our school. Here the word our is in possessive case. We can say that whose plus noun equal to possessive case. Here whose school, the answer our is in possessive case. She got a job in the children's section of the library. Here children's is in possessive case. A noun in the possessive case answers the question whose in a sentence. Next, vocative case. The noun or pronoun which is used to address a person directly is called the vocative case. For example, Kabir, get out of the class. Here, the word Kabir is used to address the person Kabir. It is not the subject of the sentence. So, Kabir is in vocative case.